Welcome, Mama, to the Postpartum Coach Podcast. Finally, a podcast dedicated just to the mental and emotional world of us postpartum women. I am your friend, fellow mama, and postpartum life coach, Lizzie Langston. After intense birth trauma, delivering my first child, and really scary mental health crises following the birth of my second and third baby, I set off on a 6-year journey to understand postpartum mental health from the inside out. On this podcast, I bring you, as a mom of 4 and a certified postpartum life coach, the tools you need to avoid mental health crashes, to get out of the postpartum rut, and to embrace a vivacious motherhood that you love from the inside out. Let's get you feeling like yourself again, Mama, and welcome to the Postpartum Coach Podcast. Hi, loves. I am sitting in a hammock in my backyard because I just could not bring myself to get into the office today because it is so gorgeous this time of year. In Arizona, there's a hummingbird and I can see the moon through the clouds. It's just after sunset, but not dark. It's not that dark yet. I do live by an airport, so excuse the airplanes. I know they're kind of annoying, but it's worth it to be outside. So today I wanted to, first of all, thank people who've left reviews. I'm just going to make a couple housekeeping business or items of business, and then we'll dive in. I wanted to, first of all, thank you guys that have been leaving reviews. I wanted to thank you guys for downloading my free stuff. You guys have been downloading my free stuff, and I just hired a Facebook ads person, and I'm on the internet, people. I mean, I've been on the internet, but like the algorithm is working for me. Thank you. I don't love everything about Facebook, but I am grateful to be able to use their algorithm to put really special healing content out there for postpartum moms. Because don't you think we deserve it? I do. So I wanted to announce that I have a new free something that you can download. It is a free womb healing ceremony. And so if you've never heard of a womb healing ceremony, your womb is the center of the creative life force that we hold. Every human being, no matter their gender or gender identity, has a sacral chakra, which is your root chakra is down by your vulva, if you're a woman, in between your hips, the root of you, your root. It's all about safety, security. Then your next chakra up, your sacral chakra, is about your creative will. It is your life force. It is your sense of self. And it's where we really need to work on our boundaries between who am I and then who is the other, and making sure that we're balancing giving to the group and the family while also giving to ourselves. And this is also where our womb sits and where our creative center is. Okay. So the sacral chakra is right there, and your womb is where a lot of generational trauma around childbirth is held. And the womb is also where grief can be stored, especially grief with pregnancy loss, miscarriages, also failed businesses or ideas that have never been taken to fruition, that are just sitting in you. Your womb is, whether it's physically there or whether it is a representation in the psyche, a womb healing ceremony is a chance to, and it's a sacred space dedicated to releasing trauma or grief or any emotions that have to do with your creative endeavors in life. And if you're feeling stuck in your creativity, if you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling like a lack of passion and a lack of life force, then you will likely be benefited from the free womb healing ceremony. So I'm going to put the link for it in the show notes. It's not on my website just yet, but it is running on Facebook as an ad for a free womb healing ceremony. And then I'll put it in the show notes as a thank you to you guys for being here on the podcast. So if this podcast is something that you've loved, please leave a review. And if you're new here, so good to have you. Thanks for being here. Today, I want to talk about, should I be a stay-at-home mom? And this topic came to me. I always find it interesting how the people that I listen to their content, how they come up with the ideas. This one came to me because I was listening to one of my many mentors. Her name is Sarah Jenks. And I was listening to her talk, and she is someone I really look up to a lot. And she was talking about Like I would say she's a very sovereign woman, and she has a very strong business and a healthy, thriving business. And she also has a beautiful motherhood and relationship with her kids. And she's a very resourced woman, meaning she has delegated a lot of things that she doesn't love doing. She really does mostly just what she loves doing. And she finds and hires people to do things. And I just think that's so strategic and amazing. And one thing she said that I'd never heard articulated this way before, but when I heard it, and I want to kind of pontificate on it today with you guys, I just knew it was true for me as well. And that is that being a stay-at-home mother should never just be what we do because it's our default, because it's just our unconscious, like, isn't this just what everyone does? ? We should have a reason for doing it, and it should be our choice to do it. And there's a difference between having reasons for doing it and having it be our choice to do it. So let me give you an example. I grew up in the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, LDS, and so Christian, super Christian. And in my church and in my upbringing, this is just like an example. There was a lot of dialogue, and I find this is a very common experience for a lot of women, especially within the realms of Christianity, but even outside of them, even I guess Catholicism is technically Christianity, but a lot of religions and cultures, this isn't even just about religions, this is about microcultures as well, is there's this belief that your quantity of time with your kids equals a quality of relationship with them that could not be had without the quantity of time. And what I have found is that's not the case. And what I actually have found is that the quantity of time, it's more like this, okay? The quantity of time that a woman spends doing things she's passionate about and things that she wants to do, that can be directly correlated to the quality of relationship she has with herself, which then extends to her kids. What I found is a lot of women try the whole stay-at-home mom thing from a place of, I'll do it for my kids because it's better for them. And I want to do what's best for my kids. That's the kind of mom I want to be. But they don't consult the part of them in that decision. They don't consult the part of them that is not a mother. And so they let their desire to be this certain mom kind of just like run the show, which is noble. It really is. And it is beautiful and it's such good intention. But what I see happening is that there becomes a bigger and bigger gap between the self that is striving to be this awesome mom, putting her kids' needs first. She's so dedicated. And this self that is not a mother. We are whole people. We are not mom robots. So while we might feel a sense of duty or obligation, or we might have actual real responsibilities to our children that we choose and that we will do anything to uphold, and I admire that and I'm all for that, I also want to offer that there is so much more space than we're probably giving ourselves to do motherhood in a way that suits our individual personality and our individual interests and our passions and the things that are important to us, such as a career, or the way my mentor Sarah Jenks talks about it is our soul's work. So for some women, being a full-time stay-at-home mother is their soul's work. It is not just what they want to do. It is what they choose to do. It is their passion. It is their purpose. And it fills and checks all those boxes. But there are other women who have a different soul's work. I am one of those women. My soul's work is serving postpartum women. That doesn't mean that my soul's work is not having a relationship with my children. I can just do both beautifully and very abundantly. I think the dangerous line of thinking is when people think it's like mutually exclusive. Like if I choose to do something else besides just dedicate myself fully to raising my kids, then I won't be a good mom. But it's actually the opposite. If you neglect your true soul's work, whatever it is, and that's some of the hard part, and that is something we work on inside of my coaching community and all of my clients, anyone that works with me, I offer private coaching as well as my membership program. And this is definitely something we work on, is how to truly figure out and find what your soul's work is. And I think a lot of the mental health crisis that women experience postpartum is leading them to that very thing. I find that postpartum mental health is actually an initiation into an awakening of really figuring out who you actually are, putting away all of the false identities that we've stacked up that really don't mean anything and that really are not aligned with who we actually are. But anyway, coming back to what's dangerous is to the scarcity complex of thinking that if I do the one thing, if I do what I love, then I can't also do an amazing job at raising my kids. Here is the belief I want you to take on if that's something you struggle with, because that's something I struggled with. And I found the opposite of this belief in my psyche. So I want to give you my positive affirmation statement I have really worked on, and it has changed my life. Not just changed the inside of me. Like I feel like life has listened to this belief that I've emanated and circumstances have arrived to enable this to be true. So are you ready? I'm like, write this down. I can have it all. I can have it all. I can have a beautiful, wonderful motherhood and my health and a healthy body that I love, that I feel good about. I can have an awesome, sexy, passion-filled marriage, and I can do my soul's work in the world, whether that's running an Etsy shop, making leather handmade purses, or Taylor Swift bestie bracelets, or whether that is working in a boutique near you, or whether that is being an HR manager at a company, or being a sales rep for a beauty product that you love, or whatever, being a scientist, being an OBGYN, being a therapist. I love it. All of it. Being a full-time stay-at-home mom, being a homeschool matron, and like you are like a coordinator of all the homeschool families, like whatever your soul's work is, if you do that, then I know that your motherhood will always be okay and your mental health will be too. Now, I will say there's one caveat to this, which is if you have been living in a form of motherhood that does not allow your true self to breathe, then making the shift to making space in your life for your non-mother self and the non-mother parts of you, meaning the parts of you that want to go do other things. If you have not currently been making time for those, it will be excruciating. I just have to use that word. It will be so hard because there's systems put in place that support you doing what you're doing now the way you're doing it. And you're going to have to break and rewire and move those systems, kind of like remodeling your home. If you want a new living room, you're going to have to remodel your living room. And that's just going to be annoying. It's going to be messy. It's going to get dust everywhere. It's going to get harder, but then it's going to be so much better in the end. And that is exactly what you'll do with this process, but it's so worth it. This is exactly the kind of intentional, conscious work that we do inside of postpartum freedom, which is really a membership about becoming and living an optimal life as a woman, including having your motherhood be optimal and thriving. So if that is something you're interested in, I have so much there to help you. You can go to lizzieLangston.com/community to check it out because it really is a lifetime work. Motherhood is not like a one and done. I mean, it is a lifetime. And I want you to have community for the life of your motherhood and not just your motherhood. So a lot of what we do in there is really tending to the other parts of you. There are so many resources to support moms in parenting and in, feeding your children in a healthy way. But what about mothering the mother? What about becoming an expert in self-regulation and that inner work that the woman, the whole person woman does? That is the type of stuff we focus on. It's really not a parenting membership. We really don't talk about kids all that much. Here's what I will just say, last thing about the community and having community. All right, baby's here with us now. What we think we need is to figure out how to heal ourselves so we can get back to being badass, productive women. But what we actually need, and you will get there, but what you actually also need is a place to bring your messy and is an appreciation for and a value for yourself when she is undone, when she is falling apart, when she is depressive, when she is moody. We have forgotten how to love those feminine parts of us. You want to call it hormonal. You want to call it, like a loose cannon, whatever, that's fine. Those are names to call what is just the feminine. We live in a more masculine society. And when women can truly treasure the feminine, cyclical, unpredictable, darker sides of themselves, that is when they will heal. They will have healing. So much of the struggle for postpartum women is the way that they reject and cast out and push away and do not want or care for the version of them that is struggling. But the version of you that is struggling is just as lovable as the version of you that is awesome and going to work all the time and making dinner and whatever the hell else she's doing. By the way, she's doing too much. Tell her to stop doing so much. Okay. So both parts of you are valued. And if you come into my programs, that is what you're going to learn. And that, my friend, will change your entire life. It won't just help you feel better postpartum. It will change everything. Because if you can learn how to love your struggling postpartum or post-baby self, then your ability to love yourself will forever be upgraded. And that is what changes people's lives forever. And we'll just keep doing more and more and more of it. And that's why it's a membership program. So LizzieLangston.com/community. I will get you the free womb healing ceremony in the show notes as well. And I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Leave me a review if this is helpful. All the links will be in the show notes. Okay. See you next week. Mama, friend, sister, hi, it's Lizzie. I am so grateful that you chose my podcast today. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I want you to know that I have more help for you, more hands-on help to uplift you and support you, including a free text message series, as well as a popular free mini course moms love. It's called Get Out of the Postpartum Rut. I also have a coaching membership community for postpartum moms. You can check out all of these at LizzieLangston.com/work with me. That's Lizzie, Lizzie, Langston, Langston.com/work with me. I'd be honored if you checked out any of my stuff. And thank you again for listening. You are stronger than you know.